In Dragon Ball Z, the character of Gohan was always my favorite. While Goku, Vegeta, and the others were cool, Gohan always felt like more of a real person who was reluctantly flung into battle. However, within him was a great hidden power which could allow him to be able to fight on the level of his father Goku, and sometimes even higher. And in addition to that, Gohan is also a character who had a real tangible story arc in Dragon Ball Z. It began rather than a fighter. However, Gohan grew to where eventually in the Cell Saga his true power was unlocked, and in the process he surpassed his father Earth. Really, this could have served as an excellent ending to the saga that was Dragon Ball. However, this also could have served to have Gohan finally step up to become the center of the show and be able to fight whatever threats would come along in his father's stead, while also becoming the person he truly wished to be. And seeing as he matured, much like Goku, growing older, training, and having more interactions along the way would have been really awesome. However, one of my greatest disappointments in the Dragon Ball story has to be the fact that the following saga skipped ahead 7 years, to a time where Gohan was out of his prime of power and where other characters such— now I'll do a video someday explaining exactly all of my faults with the Buu saga happened during those 7 years. After all, this is the second biggest time skip in the entire series, only behind the 10 years after Goku killed Buu and before he met Oob, which is now being filled in by Dragon Ball Super. However, in the main series and manga, we saw nothing of this time, and whereas there is the BoJack movie, which I do like, it's not canon to the main continuity. So what did happen during this time? Well, from what we can gather from the story, this was a 7 years of peace. During this time, Goten was born. Krillin and Android 18 were married and had a daughter of their own named Marin. Gohan matured, and the Earth lived peacefully in a post-Goku world. Now, although this might seem less exciting than seeing all-out battles for the fate of the universe, I think this period of time is still very interesting nonetheless. In fact, I think it would be worth the Dragon Ball franchise revisiting, if only for some great slice of life and just seeing the progress take place. Just imagine seeing Chi-Chi pregnant with Goten, and Gohan has to run around and do chores for her much like we saw with him and Videl in Dragon Ball Super, or Gohan helping out with Goten and telling him more stories of Goku like he did in the Buu saga. And seeing Goten being introduced to Trunks would be a cool moment as well. And for more serious moments, we could also see Vegeta as he decides to start training again, as he gave up on fighting after Goku's death. This time period would definitely be great for character development that we didn't get to see in the story proper. And if Toei and Shueisha really need to make it more exciting, then throw in some action. Have some aliens invade the Earth, or Gohan and the Z Fighters getting together and having a friendly tournament similar to in BoJack Unbound. You can even have some serious arcs in there if you need to, and maybe even throw in some cameos of Goku training in heaven or checking in on Gohan. I could see that being fun. As we're seeing currently in Dragon Ball Super, you can fit a lot of content into a time gap like this, and those were supposed to be 10 years of peace as well. So even if the story remains one more suited for slice of life, I still think it would be an interesting time to think about and for Dragon Ball to further explore in the future. Because for all we know, a lot of interesting things happened during Gohan's lost years. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out. Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.